Morning Drive. Presented by Rolex.
We are on the eve of the 44th players from the stadium course on a diabolical test of golf. It's the deepest field in the men's game, and you got to run the gauntlet to claim that crystal trophy. And when you look at the groupings, it's the best resumes in the game. But Damon, as you know, there's trouble around every corner.
Absolutely, Gary. I see a lot of pedigree among those names. Major champions, a former major champion in Henrik Stenson, a past champion in Ricky Fowler, world number one Dustin Johnson as well. And how about Chris DeMarco? He's competed in 11 Players Championships. You played the golf course recently. You went there. You saw the changes. Yesterday, you took us through 1, 2, and 3. What are we going to learn today?
We're going to look at holes 4, 5, and 6. Here's a few birdie opportunities on those 3 holes.
Birdies from Pete Dye?
Yeah, 4 and 6. I like them.
All right, you better get them when you can. Get them early. A big 2-hour show for you today. Let's send you up the road to Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and say good morning to Cara Robinson. Cara?
Yes, good morning indeed. We are delighted to be joining you once again from the Players Stadium course here at TPC Sawgrass. The sun is rising and it is getting set to be another glorious day in Ponte Vedra, Florida. We are expecting high 80s again this Wednesday, May 10th, ahead of the final day of preparation before the Players begins tomorrow. We're delighted to welcome you into our location here on the driving range. Cara Robinson alongside a couple of guys who know what it is like to compete in this championship, Charlie Reimer and John Cook. Guys, we spent a bit of time out here on the golf course yesterday. Cookie, I know you walked the front 9 with a couple of players. What were your impressions of this golf course?
I thought they did an incredible job on the renovations. I thought that there's more space out there in some spots, a little bit softer around the greens, not as humpy and bumpy. It seemed like the ridges on the greens were far more acceptable to good golf shots. You're not going to have to be going up and down and all around. I was really impressed with the front 9. I'm going to walk the back 9 today, but I was really impressed how quickly this golf course has taken shape. The players love it. It's fiery, it's fast, just like Pete Dye intended this golf course to be.
And one of the things that they've done, and we haven't really talked about it a whole lot because the course itself has been tweaked, the turf on the greens has been replaced. And I had just a quick conversation with Kevin Na yesterday, one of the best putters in the business. I said, Kevin, these greens look perfect to me. What do you think? He said, perfect does not even start to describe how good these putting surfaces are. The players are absolutely over the moon with not only what's been done with the bones of this golf course, but the playing surfaces as well.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous reaction by all of them. We're going to actually be speaking a little bit more about it later in the show, but let's get straight to what is happening now. And yesterday, FedEx announced a long-term extension of their partnership with the PGA Tour, extending their sponsorship of the season-long points race for another 10 years through 2027. It is wonderful news that has come very early on in Jay Monahan's role as the commissioner of the PGA Tour. He will actually be joining us in about an hour's time to react to everything that happened yesterday, so don't miss that. The players, though, have really welcomed the news warmly. Let's listen to their reaction.
It's great. I mean, I think it's brought another dimension to the PGA Tour. I think, it's really gained traction. People are excited about it, and I can, speak that it's, it really depends what you do. It makes that last bit of the season after the major championships so important and so exciting because you're going into the FedEx, the playoffs last year. I was, outside even getting into the Tour Championship, and then 4 weeks later, I'm holding the trophy.
It's very important to me. It's the FedEx Cup playoffs is it's the end of the year. It's it's the biggest stage on the PGA Tour, and it's something that I strive to win. It's very important. Throughout the year too, it makes where every tournament counts, and so and it makes for an exciting finish.
It's been 10 already, which is amazing. That's gone quick, and it's good to see that continue. It's been a huge investment from FedEx, and fantastic that they find it valuable to them, and obviously it's great for us and the tour. Everyone's kind of grasped the concept of the FedEx Cup and playoff golf now, and looks like that's going to be the way moving forward. So another 10 years will just about see me off into retirement.
So just to recap, the PGA Tour and the FedEx extension will be another 10-year deal, taking their sponsorship of the season-long points race through 2027. They are also committing $1 million in annual donations to non-profit organizations. FedEx are a tremendous supporter of the PGA Tour, and we're very lucky to have companies like them in our game. It's a wonderful move. It's wonderful for the PGA Tour, and it's wonderful for Jay Monahan, guys, to be able to secure a deal this big so early on in his role as commissioner of the PGA Tour. This is the first Players' Championship that he's been at the helm. Charlie, your reaction to the news yesterday?
Well, if you're the PGA Tour, you want to attract and retain high-quality companies, and you want to do it consistently, and you want to do it over a long period of time. And basically what it does is it tells the world, you know what, the PGA Tour is a healthy product. Just look at our partners. And if you're FedEx, another amazing company, the fact that they're investing in the PGA Tour, again, it shows that this golf, the PGA Tour, is healthy. I think it's a wonderful relationship.
Yeah, anytime that you get businesses like FedEx and then some of our other partners investing in our game and on the PGA Tour, it just shows that they're committed. They think that their entertainment dollar, the value, is spent wisely, and it just does nothing but help grow the game. And the more exposure that they get, we get, that we can pass on to future generations. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Crazy, as Adam Scott said, to think that it's been 10 years already. Of course, last September marked the 10-year anniversary of the FedEx Cup when Rory McIlroy was triumphant at the Tour Championship. Now we've got another wonderful 10 years to look ahead to as we send it back to our Orlando headquarters and say hello again to Gary Williams.
All right, Cora, thanks. Tell John and Charlie to grab those mowers. Start mowing that range. Well, what else is happening? Rory McIlroy, he has not played competitive golf since the Masters, but he got married, and now another commitment with a new equipment company. He makes a deal with TaylorMade. This is his fourth equipment company in 6 years. Here's what he had to say about the changes.
Yeah, I'm really excited that I've teamed up with TaylorMade. As I said, I needed to address a few issues after Augusta. You know, I alluded to the fact that I wasn't really happy with the golf ball I was playing, and I needed to do something. I felt like I struggled in the wind, so I went back to the drawing board and tested for about 10 days, pretty extensively after Augusta. Worked with a lot of different things, but I worked with the TaylorMade guys one day, and started just with on TrackMan on the range, and saw stuff with the golf ball, that new TP5X ball that they have. And I thought, wow, this is what I need. This is exactly the thing that I've been struggling with.
And you take a look, he'll play alongside Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas. A lot of firepower, certainly, in that group, gentlemen. But Chris, let me ask you, I alluded to the fact this is fourth equipment change. Started this new year with kind of a mixed bag of equipment. Right. Any concerns from you?
Absolutely. I mean, essentially, it is a fourth ball change, too, because he started with Titleist, and then he went to Nike, and then back to Titleist, and now he's back with TaylorMade. And we'll see. I mean, it's one thing testing it on TrackMan and seeing how the ball reacts, off of numbers. But now let's go see what it looks like in competition when the 17th hole is the daunting hole it is, and it's into the wind, and see if that ball carries and he's able to control his distance, because that's what he said he was struggling with, is his distance control. And that's a huge thing, especially with a ball change. That's the number one thing.
Well, it sounds like he put in the work. He finished T7 at the Masters, spent about 10 days testing the TaylorMade equipment, found the equipment that he says will work for him. I was most fascinated by what he said yesterday in terms of the big picture of his life. He said, listen, things are settled for me right now. I just got married. I'm very happy with my equipment. To me, this could be a moment where things take off for Rory McIlroy. We're used to seeing him win in bunches, major championships in bunches. It hasn't happened of late, but I think now the pieces are in place. I was fascinated by the fact that he wasn't spinning that wedding ring. Usually when you get married for that first month or so, you're spinning that ring. He was sitting there in the press conference looking very comfortable.
No, you're right. And when he was here at Bay Hill, I had a chance playing in the Pro-Am with him to talk about various things. And there was a deal potentially in the works. There were other, obviously, manufacturers interested. But the thing about him, and to your point, he's a very independent, grown man now. And the settle that he has and the comfort that he has in his life, I think last year the Olympics made it turbulent for him. I think there was discomfort. Now he is a very comfortable guy and dangerous.
He's comfortable in his own skin right now, maybe as he's ever been. He's talked about it, done some wonderful interviews back in Ireland about where he is in his place in his life, what's important to him on and off the golf course. I think this is going to be a great moment for him over the next, 3 to 5 years where he can really put his stamp and try to challenge DJ for that #1 ranking.
I think you're right about that. All right, let's go back out to Ponte Vedra. Cara, you're with one of our favorites.
She sure is, and I'll be introducing her in just a minute, Gary. Thank you. But as we just show you, really the live scene here, that's Sean Stepney. Spent a bit of time with him on the 12th hole yesterday. We're going to get into that in a minute. But as you can see, many players already out early on this Wednesday morning. The last day of preparation, Francesco Molinari working with his coach Dennis Pugh before the tournament proper starts tomorrow. He's been in some very good form recently on the PGA Tour as well. So the sun has risen. It's set to be another beautiful day here in Ponte Vedra, and now I can welcome her in. Ashley Mayo, the brand editor of Golf Digest. Wonderful to have you with us. I know you've been sharing your opinion with us regularly on Morning Drive recently. Let's get into the 12th hole. I just mentioned it. It's definitely the headline of the changes that have taken place. I know you've been out there and had a look. Many spectators might choose to go and watch some of the action from there now rather than just the 17th, which previously was the most popular. Where do you think would be a good position?
I think behind the 12th tee would be prime. 17th hole gets a little crowded these days.
Yes, it does.
So if you're looking for a fresh spot to take in the action, behind the 12th tee will be very exciting. Are the guys going to pull driver? Are they going to pull a long iron and just play it safe? We heard guys like Rory and Jason Day talk yesterday about the 12th hole and how they'll attack it. They said maybe on Sunday, or if the tees are moved up to 285 yards, they'll pull driver if they have to make up ground or make an eagle potentially. But more likely than not, they will dial back and they'll hit an iron and just kind of a wedge shot into the green. Earlier this week, the green was running 13 on the SIP meter, very fast. So any kind of drive or long iron or long shot into that hole will not hold. So it's going to provide a lot of excitement, a lot of options for the players.
Yeah, I can't wait. Having seen it in person yesterday, you can really see the risk and reward option. And I was a little surprised yesterday by how many guys said they were going to lay up. But then someone said to me it's only Tuesday. I bet they changed their minds by later in the week. There have been plenty of changes, of course, here at TPC Sawgrass. What other differences have you noticed around really the whole layout here that can improve the fan experience overall?
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the areas are flatter. So like around the practice green and the first tee, they're flatter, which does two things. One, it kind of enhances the flow of spectators around the course. I've heard that in years past there's been bottlenecking issues. Well, that's going to go away. And then two, it helps you see more broad-ranging views of the course and hear roars and all that excitement. So I think it's going to enhance the player experience because it's going to be easier to get around and they'll be able to see more. So we've seen flattened areas around the course. It's almost as if the PGA Tour kind of studied how spectators flow through Augusta during the Masters. And just try to implement those strategies here.
Yeah, because they want to make the day as enjoyable as possible for anyone that comes to watch. Now, you're very present on social media. We're always following you. You're always bringing tidbits from the world of golf. Who would you recommend from the players' standpoint that our viewers should follow this week for an inside look at this special week?
Yeah, if you're on Snapchat, must follows are Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas.
Okay.
They've already been snapping. It's really interesting stuff from inside the ropes, even though maybe they're not supposed to. It kind of makes it more exciting. Yeah. And then on Twitter, Justin Thomas has also been tweeting a lot this week. Yeah. He's very excited about the changes. And local boy Billy Horschel is not afraid to say some controversial things. So a follow on Twitter for him is key. And then on Instagram, I think no one does it better than the brands. So Golf Digest, PGA Tour, Golf Channel, they're the must follows on Instagram.
You know what? I really need to get myself on Snapchat. I've just not, really been on there enough. But that's how we follow everything, isn't it? That is the inside look. I need to do that.
Absolutely.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, there's so much to keep up with. Ashley, we love you joining us as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. We'll catch up with you later in the week as well. That was Ashley Mayo, the brand editor of Golf Digest. And now we will send it back to studio and say good morning to Lauren Thompson.
Good morning, Cara. Love chatting with Ashley, don't we? Well, still to come on this Wednesday morning, a concentrated look back at the most clutch shots pulled off on the famous par 3 17th Island Green during the final round that will live forever in the history of the players. Our crew, they're going to bring them all back. They're going to call those shots and give you those highlights. Someone who knows that hole well. In fact, he's a World Golf Hall of Famer with 2 runner-up finishes in this event and 3 straight senior players victories, the legendary Bernhard Langer. He's brought his clubs. He's going to be joining us live on the range. You're about to learn from one of the best with a 101 lesson on crushing it with your long irons, and we know how tricky that can be. Then we're going to get you back to yesterday's breaking news. Quite the partnership extension between FedEx and the PGA Tour. The commissioner, Jay Monahan, he's going to open up on the impact of this, all it brings to the table. Plus, he's going to join the conversation when it comes to the changes both you and the competitors will see out at TPC Sawgrass and the Players Stadium course. But for now, let's see what else is on the way by getting you back to the scene with Cara Robinson. Hey, Cara.
Well, LT, there are 18 first-timers in the field at this 44th edition of the Players.
Good.
Hard to believe after the success he's had already. The PGA Tour winner, Jon Rahm, is one of those. Well, he is. And on a day that we celebrate those making their Sawgrass debut, we will learn from the fiery Spaniard and show you how to generate power from a short swing. Well, someone who's already working hard this morning is Francesco Molinari. He's out on the driving range here, and our coverage from Wednesday at the Players continues on Morning Drive. We are just getting started on a beautiful morning here in Northeast Florida.